Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. This is a video that you do not want to miss. If there's any question in your mind that Bitcoin has a future ahead of it, if there's any question in your mind that people are interested in Ethereum, this is the video you need to see. We're also talking about Compound, and we're also talking about Chainlink. Watch this video until the end. Give this video a like. I'm going to give you the facts in this video. And let's start off right here. Bitcoin on the cover of the New York Times yesterday. Brazen scam soliciting Bitcoin that quickly raises $100,000. Well, they say that any press is good press, but good or bad press, Bitcoin is still stagnant at about $9,000. We have been for the past 2 months or so. Yet, despite that, if you take a look at on-chain metrics, what we see is we're seeing 3 setups that mirror big price runs, including runs the 2017 bull run, to be exact. So let me share with you these details. 3 different charts. First of all, active supply. Bitcoin's active supply has hit a 19-month low of just over 1 million Bitcoin. This could signal a potential strong price increase if it plays out in line with the findings of a report from the asset manager Stack Funds earlier this month. So this is the report. Feel free to read it yourself. In this report, this is what they conclude based on this chart. Over the last 3 years, this pattern of a sharp increase followed by an almost equal pullback was seen twice before, both right before strong price increases. So take a look at this red line right here. Right here, up, then down, followed by a strong price increase, and then up, then down, followed by a strong price increase. Now, that's just one metric. And like I said, feel free to read the whole report yourself. I'll leave a link in the description, but check out these other 2 metrics. Active addresses show the same pattern. Earlier this month, Bitcoin active addresses increased sharply, hitting a 1-year high. Again, the reason this is significant is because this pattern was seen immediately before the 2017 bull run and immediately before the price rise in Q1 of 2019. So this is us today, this is us in Q1 of 2019, and this is us right before the last part of the bull run of 2017. So this is another metric. Now the final metric before we move on, miners are a strong portion of the people who are holding Bitcoin. A relatively new stat released by Glassnode looks at Bitcoin miners' net flow volume, the amount of Bitcoin flowing into miner addresses minus the amount of Bitcoin flowing out of them. It shows the miners are a strong percentage of those holding Bitcoin with almost an entirely positive net flow since the start of the year. Now, I want to add something to that because if we take a look at Bitcoin mining difficulty and also Bitcoin mining hash rate, a lot of people thought because the halving just happened and miners' profits were going to get cut in half, that we'd see stuff like this drop off. We'd see stuff like this fall off. In reality, based on what the miners are doing, it's actually more bullish than anybody thought would happen. Everybody thought it would drop off after the halving. In reality, we're seeing the exact opposite. Let's talk about Ethereum, let's talk about Chainlink, and let's talk about Compound. This is news you don't want to miss. Let's start right here. Actually a big deal. Goldman Sachs put out a job listing to hire an Ethereum engineer. So by name, search for Ethereum. A requirement is you must be experienced with Ethereum. With Goldman Sachs, the reason this is big is because yet a couple months ago, Goldman Sachs was telling their clients that crypto is a scam, not worth anything. This is interesting. So to the public, they're fudding cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. The whole cryptocurrency market, they say it's not an asset class. Yet, behind the scenes, Goldman Sachs wants to hire Ethereum engineers. Amazing. Like the video, guys. Support the channel because I want to talk to you about Chainlink and I want to talk to you about Compound. Before we get to this, and I don't know if you saw this, but I have a lot to say on this. Let's talk about Compound. Investors are dumping Compound token as soon as it gets listed. So let's find out the details here. I actually thought the research they did was interesting. Exchange listings lead to major dumps. So according to this report, comp tokens that got listed on Binance and Coinbase, the week that they got listed, major flows from investors to exchanges were seen. The report finds that, this was interesting too, the report finds that the vast majority of compound users are spectators who do not actually engage in the lending and borrowing. Compound users, the users hold 23,000 of the active supply, while wallets who are not using the protocol hold 680,000. So it's really just people using it as a speculative investment. And once these things hit exchanges, a large percentage of people want to take profits. That's actually smart. I see nothing wrong with that. I thought this was so they asked the Compound Finance CEO, Robert Leshner, for a comment on this story. He said, "I won't go on record and debate false information. It gives credence to bad reporting and smears. I will, however, after your article is published, point out how flawed it is." And they don't really say what part he disagrees with, but he's very hostile to the people at Cointelegraph. So I just wonder, was there something misrepresented here? I don't know. Speaking of information that gets misrepresented, did you guys see this? Zeus Capital put out a report, Chainlink fraud exposed, and basically they say that the potential downside, 99%, this is a recent report, they say this is a Ponzi scheme similar to Wirecard, if you remember that story. Now, if you read this article, it actually is very detailed, reasoned, articulate, the reasons, the problems they have with Chainlink. In my opinion, some of the things they bring up are real issues that Chainlink has, but also issues that the greater cryptocurrency DeFi space has. And just so you get a little sense of some of the key takeaways, they called it a classic pump and dump, trading on inside information, front-running the general public, unsubstantiated claims of progress, artificial transactions to imitate adoption, bogus partnership announcements, and any other trick in the book to drive up the price prior to dumping Link onto innocent investors. They also said the two founders behind Chainlink are constantly selling Link to from their vast reserves onto the market. They say that the people behind the project are more interested in marketing and community building than actually real building. And they say that MakerDAO, Uniswap, Compound are all internally developing Oracle services that would render the promise of Link obsolete. And finally, the few software developers associated with the project are making frequent but cosmetic changes to the code in a never-ending product beta, while executives who previously took the bait are either fleeing the project or trying to avoid association with it. And like I said, 59 pages of them. I mean, they're explaining it. They're explaining it. Now, with all that being said, as people in the comments are no doubt pointing out, this is probably fake news. Dubious asset manager, a suspicious asset manager, is claiming to have entered into a short position targeting a 99% crash in the price of Chainlink. And the biggest problem with the report is that it offers no citations, features 0 working links. Many analysts believe that it was authored maliciously. Also, there's reason to believe that Zeus Capital, the people who put out this report, are not a legitimate company. Their Twitter account has been suspended for violating terms of service. It seems the website only went up in the past 7 months. And while it's interesting what this report said, again, they didn't provide any evidence, any links to evidence. I happen to think that some of the stuff they said are problems that are in the DeFi space, and Chainlink goes along with that. But despite that, I would take this report with a grain of salt. This is somebody who opened up a short and wants the price to drop so they can profit. That is it today, my friends. Give the video a like, support the channel. Let's see if this video can get to 3,000 likes. I told you about the on-chain data with Bitcoin. I told you about Goldman Sachs asking for Ethereum engineers. I told you about Chainlink and Compound. Those were the most interesting stories of the day to me. Again, I do want to recommend this live stream we did with BitBoy a couple days ago. Seems like BitBoy is a controversial figure. Seems like some people don't care for him. But we like to bring on different types of people. And it was great conversation in this. BitBoy has a very altcoin mentality. I have a more Bitcoin mentality. And that's why I thought the discussion was so good. And it did get cut off in the middle. but it's since got reinstated. So a lot of people didn't get to see this. Make sure you check out this video if you haven't. And I will see you tomorrow. It's going to be a great year. HODL through the boring times. I think the future is bright.